Okay, so last time that we left off, we were able to have our bullet track through and determine whether it was in the zombie or not. The only problem that we had was that the bullet just passes through all of them, and so we can kill a lot of them with one bullet. This makes the game too easy, so we're going to go ahead and get rid of that. Also, we want the game to automatically increment as we get through the waves, and we want to make it so that we can't go outside of our lines. So what we're first going to do is, I think that this is a little distracting, so I'm going to take out the equals and just make it so that it has to be greater than, the level has to be greater than I, not equal to it. And then next up, we have our next level, set level. So let's go ahead and start off with the auto incrementation. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a state for previous, so previous, comma, set previous equals use state of 0. And then we're going to correct that spelling. Previous, there we go. And we're going to do const zombieCount, set zombieCount equals use state of 0. Okay, and here we have a set previous to level squared. And then we're going to do set zombieCount to level squared minus previous. And you might be thinking, well, Jake, that is going to be 0. We have level times 2 minus previous. So, and previous equals level times 2. So what's going on there? Why are we going to be getting, why is that correct? So what's going on? Let's go ahead and just console log our zombie count. And what's going on is this state can't be relied on. It's basically batch. It's updating as a batch. And so as soon as this happens, it's not taking the level that just immediately updated. It's taking the previous level, which the previous level is 0. So when we click that button, level is actually 1. But previous thinks level is still 0. So at level 1, this is 0. And then this level times 2, this zombie count thinks level is 0 and previous is 0 at level 1. So that's going to be a problem because when we console log this, it's thinking there's 0 zombies, but there's 1. And then when we have 3 zombies, I'm just going to take care of that one that was from the previous. When we have 3 zombies, it thinks there's 1. But then at level 3, it thinks there's supposed to be 5 zombies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? But it thinks that there's 3. So we're going to correct this by doing a let increment. And then we'll do increment. Well, we'll do an if statement. If level equals 0, then increment equals 1. Else increment will equal 2. Okay. So let's see here. And then we also need to add increment plus increment. There we go. And that will fix our one-off problem. So now at level 1, there's 1 zombie. And at level 2, there's 3 zombies. And the reason why we're having 3 zombies is because this I level times 2, what's happening is when I is 0, okay, and then level times 2, level goes up to 1, so 1 times 1 equals 1. Then we go up by 1, but then when level times 2, when level is 2 times 2, we're going up to 4, right? But then it's only going up 3 extra from what the previous level is. So that's why everything is only incrementing by a +2 zombies each round. Okay, real quick, I just wanted to give a better explanation of this little section of code and what's going on. So what is happening is you can't think of this happening and then this happening and then this happening. You have to think of them happening all at the same time. So I've illustrated this in a color coding. So this is our initial set state in yellow, okay? And so level goes from 0 to 1, okay? So we're doing this yellow 0, right? And so because set previous is happening at the same time as set level, previous still thinks that level is 0. Level squared, this yellow level squared, level still equals 0. So 0 times 0 is 0. And then zombie count as level squared, 0 times 0, minus previous 0. Previous 0 denoted in yellow up here. Okay, so 0 minus 0 equals 0, but the level is 1. On our second click of the next level button, the level goes from 1 to 2. So previous in this cyan color equals level in the red. So 1 to the power of 2 is 1 in cyan. Okay, so previous cyan equals 1. And then zombie count is 1 minus previous, because again, zombie count is happening at the same time as this previous function is happening. So this previous function goes from 0 to 1, but because it's happening at the same time, previous still equals 0 up here. So level squared equals 1 minus 0 equals 1. And then our third click, and this is the last one, so I didn't color code these last ones. So level goes from 2 to 3. In the previous, level squared, so level this 2 to the power of 2, the previous level equals 4. And then zombie count equals that previous level squared, so 4, minus previous from up here, our previous one, before this one ever took place, it's doing this previous. So 1. So level squared, 2 times 2 equals 4. And then 1 times 1 equals 1. So 4 minus 1 equals 3. And the only thing that we did to fix that, right, because it was 2 off, was we did the let increment. Actually, I think I can just Control Z this. Too far. So what we did was we just made our set level plus 1, and then we did the increment. So level equals 0, increment equals 1, and so then when it's level, when these guys think that it's 0, then our increment is 1, else it's equaling to 2, and that fixes where we're at in our loop. Okay, so now that we have a accurate zombie count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we need to decrement that zombie count. So we need to do a set zombie count equals set zombie count. And then here we need to set zombie count. Oh, and we also need to import it, or take that prop in, set zombie count. And that's going to be zombie count 0, zombie count minus 1. Okay. Next up, we need to go back to the console. Let's just make sure that that is working. So 1. Oh, I forgot. It's hitting twice. So what we need to do is go by 0.5. So let's see here. 0.5. Now we have a 0. And I don't like how these guys, when they get shot, how they disappear on this second. I want them to immediately disappear. So we're going to take this, and we're actually going to put it down here. Let's see if that works. So as soon as it passes through them, they disappear. Very cool. Let's make sure they're not moving on us still. Nope. Okay. Next up, we're going to have to do a increment. So then if zombie count equals 0, then we need to do the next level function. So now they're automatically coming after us once we clear all the zombies. Very cool. Okay, I find this a little distracting, so we're just going to disable it for now. Next up, we want to make it so that the bullet doesn't pass through each zombie. So we're going to do a set firing. Set firing. Oop, oop, oop. Control Z that. Oop. Equals set firing. And then we'll go to our zombie set firing. And then set firing will be a little back down here. Set firing equals arrow false. And then after that, there is another issue too. So let's go to this. So let's just test this out. When I hit this guy, it doesn't pass through. Sweet. But bullet HX is right here. Oh shit. Bullet HX is right here. And so what is happening is that's where the game thinks that the bullet last was. Oh, something. Something just happened to my keyboard. Oh, I accidentally put caps lock on. That's why. I got a little worried there. Okay, so what's happening is bullet HX still thinks it's here. So when the zombies pass through it, they end up disappearing. So bullet HX is here, they pass through it, and these guys are going to be dying as they pass through the last known position of bullet HX. So what we need to do is, on the first zombie hit, we'll do set bullet HX equals arrow negative 1000. And so that should correct that problem. We didn't define set bullet HX, so we'll go ahead and do comma set bullet HX and set bullet HX equals set bullet HX. So now when they hit, they all aren't going to just be disappearing. All right, and you'll notice that if they're really clumped up, the bullet can be over one of them, like over multiple of them. I can live with this, but at least it's not just clearing them out. So yeah, so now we have auto-incrementing levels. We have making it so that the bullet disappears after it hits the first zombie. So the next thing we need to do is just make it so that we can't go outside of the boundaries of our console. So here in our console, we have use effect if down equals true, comma, and well, not comma, and if down is less than 680. Or I'm sorry, if character y is less than 680, then we can go down. And I remember I set this to 100 VH. We're instead just going to do 700 so that we can more accurately measure where our console ends. So 680, let's see how 680 does. It's a little bit too much, so we'll do 660. And what's going on here, because the character is 620 pixels, we're measuring from here down to here, which is 680, but then also this next level button is pushing everything down by about 20. So now we can't go down below that line. Next, if up equals true, and character y is greater than negative 20. And so the reason why we're going negative 20 is because we're measuring from here and then up. So there we are. And then, and character x is, let's see here, left. So we want it to be less than 685. Oh, and this is left though. So actually this needs to copy down, Control X, V. So now we can't go too far right. And for this guy, it's just going to be 0. X is greater than 0. So now we go over here, and we can't go past the screen. We'll go ahead and implement this back in. And that's pretty much it for this tutorial. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do basically an all-around random. So right now all the zombies are coming in from up here. I want them to be able to come from up here, from to the sides, from the bottom, and from the left, and that'll make the game just more challenging. Also, I want to make it so that they come in waves, so that they aren't overlapping as much, because there is still a little bit of if they're overlapping and the bullet just so happens to be over 2 of them at the same instance, well then that cluster will die still. So that's just to fix that a little bit, make it so that it's not so clustered. And then also we're going to make different zombie classes that do different things and have different speeds and different health variables. And that's pretty much it for this video. I'll see you next time.